While the Roman Empire eventually stretched from Britain to the Caspian Sea, the Roman Republic had quite humble origins. When the Romans kicked out the last Etruscan king in 509 BC, the Romans had little more than their city and surrounding countryside. Over the next 2 centuries, Rome fought constant wars against its neighbors, primarily the Latins and Etruscans near Rome, the Gauls to the north, and the Samnites to the south. In 390 BC, an army of Gauls managed to defeat the Romans and sack the city, standing as an example that in many of these early wars, Rome fought for survival rather than expansion. Despite various setbacks, however, Rome slowly managed to defeat its neighbors. After finally overcoming the Samnites after a series of 3 wars between 343 and 290 BC, Rome secured its hegemony throughout central Italy. Roman control over southern Italy became solidified only a few years later in 275, when Rome defeated the city of Tarentum, who had hired King Pyrrhus to fight against Rome. In 264 BC, Rome's decision to protect the city of Messana in Sicily led to a long war against Carthage, who was in control of most of the island. This war only ended after Rome managed to build up its navy and defeat the Carthaginians at sea. As a result of the First Punic War, Rome took possession of Sicily, and over the next decade, Corsica and Sardinia also fell under its control. In 229 BC, due to rampant pirate activity in the Adriatic and the murder of a Roman envoy, Rome went to war against Queen Tuta in Illyria. The aggressiveness of Demetrius of Pharos caused Rome to return to Illyria again in 219 to remind the Illyrians of Roman dominance. 218 BC marked the start of the Second Punic War, when Hannibal first attacked a Roman ally, the city of Saguntum, and then proceeded to invade Italy over the Alps. Carthage had rebuilt its strength since the First War by creating an empire in Spain. Despite suffering multiple defeats to Hannibal's army and facing rebellions among its allies, Rome eventually managed to defeat the Carthaginians by sending armies to Spain and then to Africa. The war ended in 201 BC after Hannibal was finally defeated at the Battle of Zama, resulting in a large expansion of Roman territory. As the Romans continued to fight against the natives in Spain, their attention turned next to the east. Due to the aggressiveness of King Philip V of Macedon against his neighbors, Rome fought 2 wars from 214 to 205 and from 200 to 197. When Antiochus III, the king of the Seleucid Empire, attempted to invade Greece in 192, Rome was forced once again to defend the Greeks from the Hellenistic aggression. This pattern would continue in 172 and 150 BC during the Third and Fourth Macedonian Wars, until Rome ultimately decided to make Macedonia a Roman province and stationed legions there. Meanwhile, Carthage had once more managed to regain some of its former strength. However, when Carthage declared war on its Numidian neighbors, an act which violated the treaty it had signed with Rome, the Romans demanded that the Carthaginians unconditionally surrender to the Romans and rebuild their city further away from the sea. Carthage refused and was ultimately besieged and destroyed in 146. What territory had not yet fallen under Roman hegemony gradually did so over the next 100 years. Numidia was conquered by the Romans during the Jugurthine War from 112 to 106 BC. Much of the east came under Roman control following a series of 3 wars between Rome and Mithridates VI, the king of Pontus, between 87 and 63 BC, and Gaul was finally conquered in the famous campaigns of Julius Caesar, which ran from 58 to 50 BC. The civil wars that followed, first fought by Julius Caesar and then by his nephew Octavian, resulted in some additional gains for Rome as well, namely the province of Egypt. These civil wars, for better or worse, also brought an end to the illustrious Roman Republic. Augustus's Roman Empire would soon take its place.